And what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday, I believe. Yes, Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. We are officially 6 days away from the college football playoff national championship between two elite SEC teams this year with Nick Saban in Alabama and Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. I got two topics I want to look at, but before we get into anything, make sure y'all hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new or live on Facebook and the YouTube channel as always. Of course, I got two things I want to talk about. Really just kind of come on here real quick. Not going to turn this into a hangout stream too much or anything. But the first thing I want to look at on this very day, 15 years ago, a decade and a half ago, 15 years ago today on January 4th, it was a very historic day. Nick Saban landed in Tuscaloosa. Now, Nick Saban is incredible, right? Of course. We know all about him and just everything that he has done for this program. And it's incredible. First off, you got to check this out. He goes to LSU, he wins a title, goes to the NFL, goes to Miami. Dolphins ain't working out for him, can't coach in the NFL. And this is, this is where it went down. You got to understand how close it was to this right here not being it. We almost had Rich Rodriguez. But take a listen real quick, folks, to what Nick Saban said just 15 years ago.
I don't know how else I can say it.
Before he actually took the job.
I guess I said, I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. I think I've said this over and over again.
Why even ask the question when they were asking?
Because sometimes you get put in a position when you have a commitment and your loyalty is to your players and your team, and you get asked questions that you're not totally comfortable in answering. But yet, if you don't answer them, that creates another speculation on the other side, which says he is interested. So now, am I being loyal to my team if I say no comment? Or, well, maybe after the season I'll consider it? Then what happens?
And when your agent, Jimmy Sexton, called you to say Alabama wants to talk to you, what did you tell him on that Monday after the season ended?
I said, I don't want to talk to him.
Dang.
So the Jimmy
First of all, he said they want to meet with you. I said, I'm not interested in doing that.
Okay, so and it goes on. Basically, this whole interview, and I'll put it in the comments for you, but basically, folks, what he was just saying was that it was one of those where it's not that he didn't want to coach at Bama, like, oh, that's the last place I want to go. It wasn't one of those, but he talked about you got to be loyal to the players, right? And he stuck it out. He stuck it out. He stuck it out in Miami in the NFL, which, let's just be honest, it never really worked out for him as a NFL head coach. He didn't really have a good run at Miami. He really didn't. He was a good assistant to Belichick with the Browns of the 90s, and that was it. He's a college coach. He's the Alabama coach. But 15 years ago, he landed in Tuscaloosa. But I want y'all to understand that Saban was so close to just not taking the job. I'm trying to think. I think it was Rich Rodriguez was the one that they were trying to, get. That was who they wanted to get to begin with. Then they kind of kept looking and looking and looking, and they say, oh, who's this Nick Saban guy that won a championship in 2003 with the LSU Tigers? Well, I know exactly who that is. That guy is very special. He's an incredible head coach, and in Nick Saban, we know all about him and just how tough he is on his players, right? And like I mentioned, like you heard in that interview, it wasn't I don't want to go and coach this program. I don't want to leave Miami. But I guarantee you, if you ask him today, he would say, and rightfully so, I don't regret taking this job for a second. I don't regret not going. I don't regret, leaving Miami or anything. And, again, like I mentioned, it just seemed like he's not an NFL coach. He's very tough on his players. He's a college coach, and everything that he's done for this program is something special for Alabama and the Tide faithful. So when you look back on it, love it or hate him, just overall, let's just think about this. I hate Alabama. I hate seeing them win. They never stop. They never lose. All of you complain about that. But honestly, can you not agree with me here that this is probably the greatest dynasty we've ever seen in college football and what he's built up? And I don't care who you're a fan of. Would you really trade it for anything in the world? Knowing what you know now, knowing how it's made college football, and maybe you sit there and you're like, well, he's kind of pissed me off a bit. I don't like that he's, overall winning all the time. Hate us because you ain't us. But you cannot deny greatness. You cannot deny what he's built. You cannot deny what he has done. It's amazing, man. What's up, Jeff? What's up, Slim? I'll get you guys on and I'll drop the link. But overall, man, I kind of saw it because they posted it on Facebook. I didn't realize it was on this day. I knew it had to be like 15 years ago because I know he came in 2007. But a historic day. I mean, it's been a decade and a half with this guy. And in that time period, he has he's won 6 championships at Alabama. And, he's gone back-to-back one time. But overall, I mean, you can't deny just what he's done at Alabama is incredible from his standpoint. Yeah. So Jeff says, when Saban moved to Tuscaloosa, it dropped me to 12th on the most important people at Bama. It dropped everybody a lot for sure, man. You were probably ranked number 3, weren't you, Jeff? Something like that. But anyways, I mean, 15 years ago, the GOAT landed, and the rest is history for the Crimson Tide. Moving on, and I'll drop the link here in a second. We can talk about this stuff because I kind of do want to just kind of hang out. Let's talk some sports. Let's have some good conversation today. This Monday night, a champion shall be crowned for the college football playoff national championship. But what's at stake here? Who needs it more? What's on the line here? What happens if Nick Saban wins? What happens if Kirby Smart wins? This is a dumb question, right? I mean, who needs it more? Saban just won one. We know what he can do. Kirby and Georgia need this title, this opportunity, this win on Monday night a lot more than Alabama does. Because Alabama could afford to lose this. They're still going to recruit well, and they're going to be back. Kirby loses this. He loses a few key players to the draft and everything. And even though they're recruiting, look, he hasn't made the playoffs since 2017. You mean to tell me that it's an automatic he's still going to get there the next year and the next year? No. But let's say this. If Kirby wins this, what does it mean? Well, number one, he's going to beat Coach Saban, the GOAT, in the biggest of stages. He finally beats the mastermind of it all. He finally beats Nick Saban, but he does it for the national title. And if it happens, let me just go ahead and say, by the way, that yes, overall, I want nothing more than Alabama to win this, but I do think Kirby knows what's at stake. He's been on a mission. I'll admit that maybe, catch my preview and prediction video later this week. I did pick Georgia to win the game, but don't get it twisted now. I hope and pray that doesn't happen. I want Alabama to win, right? But if I had to take off the Bama glasses and see it from a point of view like, I don't have a team to pull for, let's just be an expert here and go with my gut, I think Georgia could do it. That being said, let's say if they do pull this off, you got Kirby Smart, right? Now, we talk all the time about assistants and who's the best in the best position to beat them. It was clearly Jimbo Fisher because he did it, right? But if he wins this, he beats Nick Saban. Finally. But not only that, he beats the GOAT at his own game, literally, on the biggest of stages of the national title game. Kirby can do that and pull that off. That'd be something incredible. That's huge. That's what's at stake. Also, let's not forget something. And I don't say this to troll, but it is a part of history. It's part of right now and where it's at. Georgia can win their first national title in 41 years. That's it. They can redeem themselves for the mistake in 2nd and 26 and all that in 2017. Everything that's been biting Georgia fans in the tail goes away. And think about it. Would it not all go away? Because what are us Bama fans going to say if they win this game on Monday? If they win this game on Monday, how can we trash talk Georgia anymore? They got their title. They got it over Nick Saban in Alabama. We have nothing to say. There's a lot more on the line, I think, for Kirby Smart. Saban can lose this game. We know what he's been doing. We know what he's used to doing. We know what he can do. He's going to find a way to get back next year, if not the year after. We don't know where Kirby and Georgia are going after this. Not saying that they can't make it back, because obviously they're trying to build something. But again, it's taken them 4 different years to finally get back on this stage. You know? They're recruiting great. They're losing Dan Lanning to Oregon, so they got to go out and find someone else to replace him. So they're going to have some turnover. But overall, forget droughts for a second. Well, it's been 41 years, so of course Georgia needs it. Forget the drought for a second. Right? I mentioned this. Kirby needs this more. Nick Saban can lose this. He's still the GOAT. He still has more titles than anybody. Alabama is still Alabama always. He can get back. But who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to... Kirby, again, he could be, in a couple years or so, back in this kind of position to win a title. I don't know if it'll be this good of a chance, though. I really don't. I mean, recruits coming in and out, yeah. Great recruiting. But this is truly his best team, especially best job on defense since he's been at Georgia. You got to take a chance now. Kirby and Saban facing off Monday night, January 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern time for the national title game. They got to take a chance. They got to go forward with it, and they have to win this. They just have to. Georgia needs this win, and I'll be honest, I think that it is hard to repeat. I want nothing more than Alabama to win this game, but I did pick Georgia to win it. Tune in later this week. I think I got it on either tomorrow or Thursday. I'll put my official Natty, prediction video out for you guys. It'll be, let's see, actually be on Friday. I got it coming out. But anyways, overall, when I look at this, I think Kirby and Georgia need it more because, again, like I mentioned, we know Nick Saban doesn't quit. He doesn't waste time. He gets back, and he's tough on his players, right? He's a tough, smart-minded head coach. Kirby's smart too. He's got a good mindset, but is he tough? Tough enough? I mean, he's kind of a little tough, but, he's not like Saban. Let's just call it what it is. Kirby's in the best position to beat Nick Saban. If that's the case, why did Jimbo Fisher do it this year? Why hasn't Kirby done it yet? Why didn't he beat them in the SEC title? If he's in the best position to beat Nick Saban as a former assistant, why hasn't he done it yet? Now, again, he still very much could on Monday night, but come on. Kirby Smart needs this more. There's a lot at stake. For Nick Saban, it's just another title. It means going back-to-back and again, getting his 8th overall, his 7th at Bama. He does officially break the record for most at Alabama, which is, I think, what he wants to leave a legacy at. That's something important. That's something huge. That's something big. But, man, if Kirby doesn't do this, he doesn't pull it off, he never will. If Kirby doesn't win Monday night, I don't think Georgia will ever be a national champion, at least with him as the head coach. That's what I truly believe. And if it is, it's going to be a little while. Look at recruiting. Alabama is still stacking up. You got other teams out there stacking up. Still teams out there like Ohio State. LSU with Brian Kelly right now. Georgia's still doing great, but come on. Overall, Kirby Smart needs this. It's hard to repeat as a champion. That's something huge if Nick Saban pulls this off on Monday night. He's done it before, of course, but it has been a little while. It'd still be pretty big, and especially considering that you got to remember in 2011, 2012, they had some of the same players. They had to replace a lot of starters this year. That'd be something incredible if they could pull that off. But then you look at Kirby and Georgia. They really need this more than anybody else. And I think Kirby knows that. It's hard to beat the same team twice in 1 year, too. But we'll see what happens Monday night. But these guys know what's at stake. Anyway. Think before you speak. It's dumb to compare Jimbo and Kirby. What's that supposed to... Oh, because... I mean, Jimbo already had a national title. That's all I was saying. And he already beat Nick Saban. So... Anyway, I'll drop the link again, but anyone's welcome to come on in if you guys want to join, and we can talk about this stuff. But overall, again, like I just, Georgia's got this 41-year drought of no national titles, right? Alabama, they got a drought of, well, nothing. They don't have a drought. I really do think Georgia and Kirby needs this more. So, but again, we'll see. And look, if Georgia wins, I'm not going to get too upset. I'm not. I mean, look, I'd be disappointed that Alabama lost the game, but I'd come on here. I'm not going to hide. I'll give Georgia fans the respect they deserve, what Georgia deserves, what Kirby deserves. I'll applaud them. Good job. Bama's going to be back next year. That's all it is, right? And that's fair. But just, again, I do want Alabama to win this game, of course, as a fan. Yo, what's up, Drew? How you doing, bro? Good to see you in here. Let's see. I just keep seeing stuff about playoff expansion. That's another thing too. I really, it's inevitable. It's gonna happen, but I don't think we need to expand the playoffs. I'm at that point. These games were close as expected. They weren't really blowouts. with Georgia and Michigan. I mean, that was a little more of a blowout, of course, than the 21-point win that Alabama had over Cincinnati. But these teams look good and competed. I mean, it's not like nobody, it's not, it wasn't truly one-sided in that. So, Drew, think Kirby has it in him to finally beat Saban? I think so. I hope not, but again, I've been saying, I said it in the offseason that I think that if any year Georgia has, like Kirby's going to get one title, and this is it, and he knows that. So, I mean, look, if I'm being honest, man, I think Georgia will win the game. I'll go ahead and say that. I think they do win it, but I just know, like, I hope they don't. I hope I'm wrong. But if I had to go with my gut, I'd give props to him. I think that he could finally get it done. Thoughts on where Caleb Williams is going to go? See, that's another thing too. Caleb Williams transferring out. I have a feeling that either he doesn't trust a guy to help him in Brent Venables because he's a defensive mind, or maybe he truly wants to be Lincoln Riley. Does he go to USC? We'll see. That could be interesting for Caleb Williams. What's up, Slim?
All right, don't take this the wrong way, but I want you to defend a couple of statements that you made.
Okay.
Defend the statement that if Kirby doesn't win it this year, that he may never win one. I think that's a pretty brain-dead take.
Really? Because I think that he has his best team right now. I think this team is as high as it could be, and I think the chances are as high as it can get for him. I mean, it's literally set up.
Actually, it's really not. He could have a much better offense whenever he learns to let go of it.
Well, I doubt that ever happens.
Why? I mean, people used to say the same thing about Nick Saban. He eventually let it go. You're trying to hold Kirby up on this pedestal where Saban is, and Kirby has been a coach for 6 years. 6.
Yeah, and what's your point?
It's completely brain dead to try and hold a coach that's been a coach for 6 years on the same level as a coach that's been a coach for 30 years.
All right, that's fair. I mean, some of that was kind of trolling. I know that he can, he doesn't have to win it this year. I was just trying to make a point, like, this is so far his best chance, and I don't know. He has a great.
I'm taking you at what you said, not what you meant.
All right, I understand that.
Now, statement number 2. Defend the statement that, well, Jimbo Fisher beat Saban, so why can't Kirby? When you've already said that Jimbo Fisher is the only former assistant of Saban's that's ever beat him. Not to mention, Jimbo's been a head coach for about 5 years longer than Kirby and already has a national title under his belt.
Right. Well, he was the best former assistant. He was in the better position, it seemed like. That's what I was saying about Jimbo. He already has a title. I said that.
Yes, but you also said if Jimbo can beat him, why can't Kirby? Well, Jimbo's a better coach than Kirby. I don't think anybody would deny that.
Well, that's not what I didn't mean to say it like that.
Well, once again, I took you at what you said.
Understood. What I could have said was, let's say it was, yeah.
It's just constructive criticism, sir. I'm not jumping your shit.
I know. Now, let's say if they had beat A&M this year, they're undefeated, and they get to Atlanta, and Kirby beats us in Atlanta in the SEC title, and then let's say you got a one-loss A&M team. Hypothetically speaking, real quick, let's say they meet up with A&M in the playoffs, and it's like, oh, we got undefeated Georgia, we got a one-loss Bama, and then we got this one-loss A&M team. Let's put 3 SEC teams in, and Alabama and A&M are facing off. And remind you, Kirby beat Saban. So then it would be like, okay, why can't Jimbo do it if Kirby was able to do it? It'd be like that.
Well, even then, to say that Jimbo isn't on Kirby's level is dumb, considering Jimbo has accomplished much more in his career than Kirby has. Granted, some of that is to do with the fact that he's been a head coach for longer. I had this same argument with Miami fans in regards to Manny Diaz. They would try and say, oh, Jimbo Fisher did this, or Nick Saban did that, or Dabo Swinney did this in this situation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you're talking all 3 of them. And they actually specifically brought those 3 up. I said, all 3 of them are guys with a decade plus of experience as a head coach. And you're trying to compare them to a guy that's in his 3rd season as a head coach. Dumb arguments.
Yeah. All right. I mean,
and there are people, I'm sure, that'll disagree with me and say they're completely valid arguments. Whatever. I don't think so. It's my opinion.
You're entitled to it. I mean, clearly, maybe I'm overreacting because, I still think, Kirby's going to be continuing to recruit well and everything. But, look, I just think, if you can't take opportunity or advantage of the opportunity of having the best possible chance to get something done, and you don't do it, then why,
Because it's the best possible chance so far.
Yeah. Okay. So far.
That's why I overlook a lot of the especially offensive mistakes that Kirby's made as a head coach because, okay, he's 6 years into being a head coach.
My friend Drew in the comments makes a good point, though. Some guys have been coaching for 15, 20 plus years and haven't won anything. Yeah.
Well, and I've made this exact argument to that exact statement before. Does that make Bobby Bowden less of a coach because it took him 17 years to win a national title at Florida State?
Look at what was his name at Kansas State? Bill Snyder?
Bill Snyder.
Yeah. There's a guy like that.
Bill Snyder's a Hall of Fame coach all day long.
For sure. I think it took Bear Bryant a couple decades to get his, didn't he? To at least get his first, because he started at A&M.
That's what made him famous was what he did at Texas A&M. They called him the Junction Boys.
Yep, 1954, and he ended up having a 25-14-2 record at A&M. Then he comes to Alabama, and he. Let's see. It wasn't until maybe 4 years into his Bama career where he got his first title, or the 1961 season, and I think he started in 56.
The only person that you can really name that basically started on top as a head coach as Tom Osborne, but he was also handed a team and a program that was already on top. He just didn't screw it up.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's something to be said for that. There's plenty of people that do that. They're handed, championship teams, or handed very good teams, and they, run them right into the ground.
Yeah. And I guess, I mean, there's a lot of great coaches out there, like, what's the Oklahoma State? Mike Gundy?
Mike Gundy.
He's done a pretty good job with the Oklahoma State Cowboys. He hasn't won a championship or anything, but I mean, coaches like that out there can at least be consistent enough to have winning seasons. I don't think the expectation at Oklahoma State is, racking up national titles.
Right. That's not the expectation there. Because Mike Gundy's not the only one. People forget, before he came to Miami, Jimmy Johnson was at Oklahoma State. He wasn't racking up national titles there either.
That's fair.
So, and I mean, he's arguably the greatest football coach of all time.
Yeah.
On any level. I don't think at this point, because college football has changed so much, some things are going to stay the same. Some things are going to change.
Yeah.
I think programs like Oklahoma State, I just don't see ever. You'll have Mike Gundy have consistently winning season, consistently good teams, but I don't see them racking up national titles. And the flip side of that, I don't see a program like Nebraska being anywhere near as dominant as they were, 25 years ago. Because of the changes that have happened.
Just overall in college football. And I guess it's just adapting to it. Because, I mean, there's a lot of old coaches out there that still coach, or not like old, but just like they've been around for a while and they just don't like the changes or can't adapt or whatever it is. And it kind of holds you back.
It's not just that. I mean, the landscape of college football has changed as such to where, I mean, I say it couldn't be done. If you can get an elite level recruiter to be a head coach at a place like Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the biggest problem for Nebraska at this point, is getting top recruits to be there.
Yeah, I would agree to that.
Because, who the fuck wants to go to Omaha, Nebraska?
I don't know. My friend Drew says, Canes, you're putting way too much stock into someone's length of coaching as means to say they are more qualified. That isn't always the case. Sean McVay, coach of the Rams, has reached multiple milestones in this few seasons.
But the exception to the rule doesn't disprove the rule. It actually proves the rule that much more. You can't pull out the exception and say, oh, well, the rule doesn't exist. Here's an exception.
Nah, I would agree.
You can find exceptions to every rule.
Yeah.
And I mean, I even brought up an exception to that rule. Tom Osborne.
Yeah.
I don't think he was a particularly good head coach by any means, but, Larry Coker won a national title his very first year at Miami.
That's true.
But he was handed a championship level team. Kind of like Ryan Day. Everybody's jumping on the fact that, Ryan Day is this great coach. And I said it at the time, and it's starting to ring true, because they've steadily gotten worse since Ryan Day has taken over. I said, wait until Ryan Day doesn't have a playoff-ready team handed to him, and Justin Fields on a silver platter.
Yeah, that's true. He kind of just walked right into it, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, I said, before we go anointing him as the next great coach in college football, let's give it a few years and see what happens. Yes, they just won the Rose Bowl. Happy for them. But without a shadow of a doubt, this year's Ohio State team is worse than the Ohio State team Urban Meyer's last year.
No, it's bad. I mean, what about you talk coaches? Remember Les Miles? He finished 145-73 was his overall record. He had one title at LSU, one in 2007. But that he was still a really amazing recruiter and coach for LSU. But I mean, he started out at Oklahoma State in 2001. And they were going like 5-6, 3-8 to start out in his career. I mean, we're not even 6 years prior to him winning a title with the Tigers, and he's having like under bowl, like not even bowl eligible records at Oklahoma State. So when I see a coach like that, you got to put into perspective, like you got to be, it's a coach has to be at the right place, and I think the right school sometimes to get where he needs to be on a national level.
Well, no doubt about that. I mean, you're never going to get the same level of talent at Oklahoma State that you can get to automatically just show up at LSU.
Yeah.
And I think that actually that kind of leads to that same line of thinking. To me, is why Miami's been in the rut they're in. Because if you look at ever since Coker, so basically since 2007, they hired a first-time coach, a guy from a non-Power 5. We ain't gonna count Mark Richt because he retired. But then Manny, another guy that had never been a head coach. But you look at all the guys before him that were successful. Erickson came from Washington State. Jimmy came from Oklahoma State. And, I mean, Howard Schnellenberger had a resume a mile long, college and pro.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, that kind of proves that rule just as much. I mean, you're not going to get the same kind of talent at Oklahoma State or at Washington State that you're just going to get by default at Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up Les Miles. I mean, Les Miles.
You broke up there, Slim, and we lost him. So I don't know what he was going to say about Les Miles, but yeah, I mean, look, overall, I mean, it's not, we talk so much about like quarterbacks, generational talent, or you're systematic. I mean, there's systematic coaches, I think. I mean, like, again, like Nick Saban, it did not work out at all for him in the NFL. And it took him almost 20 years in total of his coaching career to get his first title at LSU, if not maybe 15 or whatever it was that we determined. But, and the same could be said. I mean, look, you don't always I don't know. I'm lost. I mean, we've been going on here for a while about like coaches and what does it take, how long. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's coaches that are winners that don't have the rings. You know what I mean? Like you can be a winner without a ring. You can't get a ring without being a winner, though. But I mean, there's so many of them. Lincoln Riley made the playoffs how many years in a row? Didn't win a single playoff game. Didn't even make it to a national title. Does that make him a bad coach for Oklahoma? I don't think so. You know, I mean, it's, you know, some coaches can't take it all the way in college football, I guess, sometimes. But, you know, that doesn't make them bad or not. It doesn't even necessarily make them not elite. But yeah,
Anybody would make that argument. I mean, you could
yeah,
be terrible at something for 50 years, and at the end of 50 years, you're still terrible at it. I mean, that happens all the time.
it does.
But it's still a general rule. The more experience you have, the better you are.
Oh, for sure.
You know, the ones that wouldn't be are definitely the exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
And some of them, I mean, you brought up, like I was trying to say before I got that phone call, about Les Miles. Les Miles would have more national titles if he had got out of his own damn way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just simple fact. I mean, Nick Saban got with the times. Les Miles refused. And that goes back to your point of some people are just dead set in their ways and they're not going to change.
Yeah. But again, I mean, I mentioned, you know, there's quite a bit at stake, though, for these teams on Monday. I mean, Georgia could end a 4-decade drought. I mentioned, if Alabama wins, I mean, a lot of people would say, oh, it's just another title. But I mean, it's first off, it's back to back. But also, I mean, Nick Saban breaks Bear Bryant's at least record for championships at Alabama. He's already broken them, in general because he's got the one at LSU, but he could have 8 in total and hold the record for most by an Alabama head coach. That'd be something. I mean, it's not gonna. I mean, as if his legacy isn't big enough already. You know what I'm saying? But
well, let's just hope he doesn't go down in flames like Joe Paterno did.
oh gosh.
I mean, Joe Paterno proves one bad judgment call and your entire legacy is erased.
Yeah.
And it may not even be something in Nick Saban's hands. You know, I've said this before. A lot of times when these scandals around programs come out, whether it's at, Ole Miss or wherever it is, a lot of times it's not even the coach, it's a booster. Coaches come and go, those boosters don't.
Yeah. That's true.
That's why when it comes to crap like that, unless they get unless they're directly implicated in something like Hugh Freeze was, for example. I just look at it like, the coach very well may not have known.
Yeah.
I mean, because look at what happened at North Carolina. I mean, that was happening across several sports by, teachers' aides and tutors. The coaches very well may not have known what was going on there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes they find out when it's national news and everybody else finds out. I mean, and they're like, "Holy cow, what the hell's been going on?" Like, whoa.
Well, I mean, they're not sitting over the players' shoulders when they're in class. They're just
right.
I mean, they probably make sure they're there, and that's about as far as it goes.
They're like, "All right, you're here now. Just do your work and live your life or whatever."
Well, I mean, it goes back to what I said. They can't be over their shoulder 24/7.
Right. I mean, my grandmother kind of told me that this summer. She's like, when you go in person to college, just so we're clear, this isn't like when you were in elementary school. You're going, you're an adult, and they just give you the work, expect you to do it, and if you do it, you do it. If you don't, you don't. You fail or you pass, it's all on you. Like they are not too concerned with you and your time. It's just, one of those things in a way. What's up, X-Wing? What's up, Benji? What's up, Drew? Good to see everybody in here. Saw Jeff earlier, but
what's the weather like in Ames, Iowa?
Ames, Iowa. Mr. Jack Trice. I'm gonna check that out. It's gotta be. That'd be pretty cool. I'm still pretty happy that we got a little bit of snow here on the lake this week. It's 46 right now where I am.
Yeah, I'm not too far from you.
Oh, where are you traveling?
Well, I mean, at the moment, I'm not too far from crossing into Mississippi. I'm in Alabama.
Oh, nice. Dang, it's 38 in Ames right now. It's going to be 9 degrees on Thursday for them. Sorry, Jeff. 9 degrees? Good God. Man. Check out my Bama, Georgia preview video. Okay. I'm going to show it. I hope you don't mind, X-Wing.
What if he does mind? You might want to make sure he doesn't. That's copyrighted material, sir.
Yeah. Let me know if you want me to show it up on here, but I personally will check it out. But
don't just assume somebody doesn't mind.
Yeah.
You know what they say happens when you assume.
Yeah. He says you can. Okay. So this is X-Wing Sports. Y'all go subscribe to him. Does a lot of great content. He's an Alabama fan. I like his editing for his videos too. And some of it's a little drama and like scripted type stuff, or it seems like it. Like it's incredible. But here we go. This is his official preview for the national title game with Georgia and Alabama. I guess it looks like he put this up yesterday.
Welcome to the Georgia Factor, where stature isn't a factor.
Is this supposed to be a Stetson Bennett joke right here?
And we're here to preview the Alabama-Georgia game. Like every week, we preview Georgia matchups every week. What was that? Was it the Tide? Oh, no. That's good. You knew this was going to happen. Alabama and Georgia will rematch in a game of the century. I know a lot of people were thinking that this game was a blowout at the beginning, and it was. But before I get into that, I would like to tell you guys to please subscribe to this channel. Trying to get 2,000 subscribers series on PlayStation 3, possibly college football video game series maybe. But enough of that. Let me get into the preview. So Georgia and Alabama, these two teams faced off in the SEC championship game when Alabama got the best of Georgia. 41-24. Everybody remembers that. Stetson Bennett went 29 for 48, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They were not able to run the ball that effectively. Kenny Mashikoff, she was averaging 8 yards per carry. They should probably give him the ball more, but James Cook, 3.5. Jameer White, 3.9, not cutting it.
Samir White.
What is the strengths of Alabama? Their passing game. And what is Georgia's weakness? Their secondary. I've already covered this. The matchup favors Alabama, but will it matter the second time around? That is the question. That is what everybody is thinking. Georgia opened as a 3 or 2.5 point favorite this time around. They were favored by 7 the first time. And Alabama blew them out. So why is the line 3.5? And I'll tell you, or 3 or 2.5. I'll tell you, it's because Vegas thinks that you can't beat a team twice. Even though in history, 60% of the time, the team that wins the first time wins the second time. It's proven. It's a fact. It's a statistical stat. But then again, you got Alabama who played LSU and lost to them and then beat them in the national championship. That happens. It happens a lot in football. But do I think that Kirby Smart can get this Georgia team ready to play an Alabama team that blew them out in an embarrassing fashion where they were embarrassed and they took it out on Michigan, but Michigan wasn't very well matched up to play a Georgia team that could stop the run, and Michigan, all they do is run the ball. So I think that Alabama matches up still really good against Georgia, even though they have some key guys out, John Mechie, and some offensive linemen and corners. But the corner issue isn't a problem. I think they have the depth factor to Georgia, but I don't think it's as big of a factor as having Brian Robinson healthy. He wasn't really healthy in the Georgia game. I think having Brian Robinson healthy, even though Georgia can stop the run very effectively, if we look at the matchup, Brian Robinson had 55 yards, 3.4 yards per carry. Bryce Young, he was the difference maker on the ground. I think even though he only had 40 yards, it was enough to keep Georgia honest. But they were passing the ball super effectively in that game. And I think that Georgia is going to press a lot more in this game and maybe even give up some deep passes over the top more in this game just to contain the short throws and screens that Alabama runs, kind of like what Cincinnati did. But Cincinnati was not giving. I mean, I don't think Alabama was trying to throw the ball deep on Cincinnati because they knew that Cincinnati could score, so they're playing pretty conservatively. So I think the 41-24 beatdown Alabama put on Georgia, it's an overreaction. I think this game is going to be a whole lot closer, but I do not think that Georgia is going to win this game. And a lot of things point to Alabama's wide receivers burning the Georgia secondary, and that's one of the things. But another thing is having a healthy Brian Robinson, like I said before. And a lot of people are going to say, well, Georgia is the best to stop the run, and that is true. But if Brian Robinson can get 70 yards on the ground, getting 20 more yards than he did the first time around, and probably averaging 5 yards per carry, Alabama's going to win the game. Because if they can run the ball effectively, then they're going to win the game. If they can pop off 5 yards per carry with Ryan Robinson, they're going to win the game. Simple as that. Bryce Young is probably going to throw for 350 in this game. He's not going to throw for 400 yards. Georgia's going to limit Bryce Young, but he's still going to get his numbers, just not to that prolific amount that he did the first time. So Bama's going to whoop Georgia's ass again. It's going to happen. So that's my prediction. And it's going to be a lower scoring game in the first round. So I'm going to go 30-27 Alabama. Crimson Tide.
Yeah.
Bama's going to eat and feast on that Georgia secondary once again. And they're going to be able to run the ball a little bit. Just my prediction. Anyways, guys, if you enjoy this content and you like seeing this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right. By the way, 16-degree weather for the game on Monday, but Lucas Oil has a roof, so it's.
I'm about to say that's a dome. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad of a video. I think he made some good points. But yeah. I don't know. I got my video coming out Thursday or whatever for you guys. I did pick Georgia, but trust me, I do have a lot of faith in the Tide. I just I don't know. There's something about Georgia this year that I just think it's been their year, for success. And I know we talked earlier, like Kirby's not going to go away. Georgia's not going to go away, but I just think that they've kind of been on the mission to get it done this year, no matter who they're facing, but especially with, Alabama in the way. And it is hard to, when you have a revenge factor and a rematch coming up, like it's hard to kind of take care of a team 2 times in a row. I mean, but again, I obviously as a fan, I am pulling for the Tide, and I do hope they win. And anyone's welcome to join. Slim drops out, but yeah. Rematches are hard, plus all of Bama's injuries. Yeah, that's true. Let me see. Let's see if I can pull this up here. 3-point spread, 52 is the over-under. Where's the injury report, though? It should show who's... Is there not anybody out at the moment, at least? I mean... Let me see. Anyway, I don't know, but I won't be surprised if Georgia. I wouldn't be surprised either. And quite honestly, I won't even be too upset at the end of the game. I mean, I'd eat the crow as a Bama fan. I give props and credit to Georgia and Kirby. They've earned it. They've had that kind of season this year. They've had a long ride. I mean, it wouldn't even. I mean, look, Bama's going to get back next year. You know. So I mean. Let me see if that's fine. X-Wing is good to see you in here at least. But yeah, I think so. Double check real quick the bowls here. I guess I could preview. What's up, Alan? Guess I could preview this one. LSU, Kansas State. As I'm talking about this, it does take place tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. The Tax Act. Gotta be careful how you say that one. Texas Bowl. LSU unranked. Kansas State unranked. Both bowl eligible, of course. 6-6 Tigers going up against a 7-5 Kansas State team. Of course, LSU with Coach O out as the head coach, Brian Kelly coming in. I think he's going to be a big-time coach in Baton Rouge for the Tigers. I really do. But it's overall, it's also curious. You know, like it makes me curious. But again, the Tax Act Bowl, LSU 6-6, Kansas State 7-5. SEC, I guess the past couple games, I mean, they've gotten some bowl wins. At this point, though, I never really liked pulling for LSU. So I guess I kind of hope Kansas State wins. Both of these teams are pretty even up, too, when you look at it. I see you back there, Chris. I'll get you here in a second, buddy. both are pretty even. 27 points a game for LSU, 26 points a game for Kansas State, and Skylar Thompson. Right, you got Deuce Vaughn, a great running back, 214 carries on the year, 15 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards rushing. Defenses are pretty similar. For a Big 12 team, though, I think only giving up 21 points a game this year is not bad for Kansas State. LSU giving up about 25. The line is 7 in favor of the Wildcats. When I look at this game overall, I think it could be very interesting. I do see a big defensive game. I don't see a whole lot of scoring. And I think, honestly, LSU could get it done. But I think it's going to be close. I think it comes down to the wire. I think that, Max Johnson and company, first off, I want to double check again who is out for this game. It doesn't really look like it, at least to my knowledge. And what I've heard, it seems like everybody's pretty much healthy and ready to go. But if there is anybody out for this game, let me know. Would mean a lot. For LSU, they had a 3-game losing streak, and then they won their last 2 to end the season with Coach O and his career. They went 6-6. They finished 6th in the SEC West, and they went 3-5 in conference play. Max Johnson over 2,000 yards throwing. Tyrion Davis-Price, their running back, is the lead rusher. 211 carries, 6 touchdowns on the year, over 1,000 yards. Kayshon Boutte with 509 receiving, 38 receptions and 9 touchdowns overall. Not a whole lot of offense for them this year. I mean, they have failed to get back to the offense or really anything. It's not that they need to get back to what they had in 2019, but they got to at least be a little close and competitive, right? Because, I mean, that was a generational team that you're just never really going to see again, probably. But if they could just build off, just win or lose this game, doesn't matter. I don't know. I would say maybe not. It doesn't matter if they win or lose this game. I mean, every game's important. But for LSU, going into next year, it'd be cool to say, hey, we won a bowl game and Brian Kelly come in and build off of it. But overall, when I look at this, honestly, I do think LSU could get this done. I think it's going to be low scoring somewhere. And I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be something really, really close. I think there's a lot of defense on both teams. I think in the end, though, the Tigers get it done. I say they win by 2 points, maybe a late field goal or a late stop. But I say LSU could get it done 26-24. Again, this game taking place tonight. As I'm recording this, it's January 4th. This will be tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. It's a 7-point spread. But I'm going to give it to LSU and the Tigers. And I don't think anybody really covers it. I think it'll be a little closer than people think. Say 26-24 LSU. And I think the Tigers get it done and get the victory.
Can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing?
What's up? I don't know if you know, but I am an LSU fan. And
is this Cajun Chris?
Yes, this is Cajun Chris.
How have you been, man? I haven't seen you on here in a while.
Well, I have like an account called Chris. It's not called Cajun Chris, so I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I've seen that one. Does it have like the 76 on it or whatever?
No, it's just it has like some pictures of LSU players on it. You'd recognize it if you saw it.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if you knew, but I don't know. I know for sure Max Johnson's not playing tonight. Did you know that?
Is he not?
Yeah, he transferred.
Oh, that's right. So who's gonna play then? Who's starting? If Max Johnson's out, then I guess it would be.
We also have a guy named Garrett Nussmeier, but if he were to play, I'm pretty sure he'd have to burn his red shirt. So he's most likely not playing tonight either. There's a chance, but most LSU fans are expecting a receiver to play tonight
What?
for LSU, who played quarterback in high school, which
Give me this score here. Give me this. This is, hold on. Let me fix this up for you. Hold on. I got this. All right, carry on.
Okay, so
I mean, come on, man.
So-
Like, you guys have you have some players that have transferred. You got a lot of key missing pieces, man. And
yes, we do.
apologize. I forgot all about the whole Johnson transferring thing. And
I don't think Ty Davis Price is going to be playing tonight either. If I'm not mistaken, he opted out.
he quit.
So we're most likely going to have a freshman running back out there tonight.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, we plan to play. Well, most LSU fans think we're going to play a receiver at quarterback tonight. His name's Jonte Kirkland. And defensively, our defense has looked good at the end of the season, but going back from the start of the season, we've only got one defensive starter that started against UCLA in the first game. So it's crazy how much this team has gone through, how much this team has gone through with injuries and opt-outs. So yeah, I don't really know what to expect tonight. I mean, I do think we have the better athletes than Kansas State, and a lot of people think that'll help us and give us the edge.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want it. I want it to be competitive, and I just want to watch a fun bowl game.
Would you say though, like, could we get a score like I originally predicted, even with all that, those players opting out? Like, could they still put something together for the LSU offense to get some, drives, I guess?
I think so. I'm a little worried about the quarterback thing. I think the quarterback deal is gonna tell a lot. If man, I'm just so curious with Nussmeier. I think they can move the ball with a receiver though, who's never played quarterback before. I honestly don't know what to expect. He can go out there and light it up for all I know, but
Yeah.
I mean, we have talent at receivers. I think our guys would win that matchup, but with a new quarterback or a guy who hasn't played quarterback yet in college, who's just taking reps here in these bowl practices, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, again, I predicted you guys to win maybe by a field goal, or I mean, I'm sure you could trust, like, if you have to put the game away, you could probably trust your defense to maybe knock the ball down or get a stop or something. I don't know about like a pick or whatever, but I think y'all could stop them at the end or whatever. But I predicted 26-24 LSU, 26 points. There's got to be some field goals in there. I mean, you can't tell me these teams can't get in field goal range and kick a couple of field goals or whatever. Maybe LSU finds a trick play or something, gets in there. I mean, whatever they have to do. I think if you're LSU, it's like, man, we really don't have a real true quarterback. We got this receiver or something. Let's run a jet sweep or run the ball or do whatever we got to do. Let's just gain yardage, get downfield, and just, I don't know, throw it up in the end zone, see if someone catches it. I don't know.
There's nothing to lose. And this is going to be a game where we have an interim coach at head coach, because we had Coach O the whole season, even though he was fired midway. He sticked out with like their deal they made. He finished out the season. So we've got Brad Davis coming in tonight as the interim coach. But I heard that Brian Kelly will be there, just probably on the sidelines watching. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to expect. I think it will be a low scoring game.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah. So we're talking with a good friend of mine, Cajun Chris. I think he just goes by Chris on here now. I don't know. But either way, it's good to have you on here, man. And I hope you've been doing well. But speaking of, you mentioned Brian Kelly. So how is he feeling? how are LSU fans, including yourself, like, are you guys really pumped up about this hire and, what he can do? Is there some questions or issues that you guys see in him? Because, there were a lot of different guys that were candidates for the job. I think I'm trying to remember exactly, but who was the lead candidate that you guys almost got? I think I know Lincoln Riley. He ended up going out to USC. But overall,
Yeah.
all the coaches that I had heard, Brian Kelly was one of the ones I did not even come close to expecting to take the job at LSU. How are you feeling about it?
During this whole coaching search, it's been all over the place. We've heard names like Mike Tomlin,
Yeah,
Matt Rule. We've heard Lincoln Riley, all kind of names. Um, PJ Fleck. I mean, it's going all over the place.
PJ
So
Fleck.
I
Okay.
definitely I didn't see Brian Kelly coming. When I first heard the news, I saw that they were saying Brian Kelly was hired. I didn't believe it at first
Yeah.
because we had. I mean,
Um,
just looking at Twitter, I mean, every day it's something new. I just didn't trust it. But me personally, and I think the LSU fan base are really happy with this hire. And so far,
yeah.
I'd say he's done a pretty good job hiring staff. I mean, he's made a lot of staff changes. Um, the short time he's been here, we've got a new offensive coordinator was the offensive coordinator at Cincinnati, Denbrock.
Yeah.
The Chiefs linebacker coach is coming in at our defensive coordinator. I heard that we got
That's something right there. The Chiefs linebacker coach. We know that they've definitely had some guys at that position.
yeah, I've heard we've got a new strength and conditioning coach, a new quarterback coach.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Frank Wilson from McNeese State. He was the head coach there. He's now on the staff. I mean, he's made a ton of staff hires, and I feel good about this hire. I
There
mean,
were,
I'm not
yeah.
expecting anything right away, but maybe 2, 3, 4 years, maybe we can maybe talk about winning the SEC and maybe being a playoff contender. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what he can do recruiting wise. And I mean, he's never Denbrock too. Denbrock and Brian Kelly. They've never really had talent like this before.
Yep.
This is like the max talent you can get. I mean, because you have those restrictions at Notre Dame and plus Cincinnati, you don't get the most, the top recruits at Cincinnati. Now you come down to Baton Rouge and you've got a ton of 5 stars and 4 stars. I think they can do some great things here.
Of all the coaching candidates too, Brian Kelly was one of the names that was never really thrown around. I heard a lot of buzz that they were going after Lincoln Riley, who's now with the USC Trojans. And of course, Brent Venables going to Oklahoma from Clemson to take over for the Sooners. I heard them trying to go after Joe Brady from the Panthers, who's currently their offensive coordinator. I heard rumors about Dave Aranda. I heard Billy Napier from Louisiana Raging Cajuns. I heard so many. I'm trying to think of another. Gary Patterson at TCU was a huge one, but Brian Kelly, man, that's a big time name, and everything he's done at Notre Dame is amazing and huge. But that was a big surprise when they hired him. But so far, so good. It seems like I've heard some great things about him. We're still in the season, but practically after tonight, y'all's off season and everything's going to take place and he'll take over. But I've heard a lot of great things, man. I think that he might be the right guy to get you guys back on track.
I agree.
Especially in recruiting, because he's recruited great at Notre Dame. He's made the playoffs twice. He's made a national championship. I think he's yet to win it, but he's, we don't see Notre Dame in the playoffs every year. Well, first off, Notre Dame's not in a conference, so if they go undefeated, they're in. Well, they're not always going undefeated, they are competing, and I mean they've beaten Power 5 programs. I think they've beaten teams like Louisville, they've beat Clemson, they've beat Florida State, competed with Georgia at least. I mean, we remember that 2017 game that they had in South Bend where Georgia pulled it off, but they competed. So I mean, it's not like he's going from playing in a peewee type of
Yeah.
system to the SEC. No, he's going from a major program, historic program in Notre Dame, and bringing that blueprint in his coaching mindset, especially on defense. He's had some monster defensive players over there. And I'll tell you what, man, LSU is built for defense historically. I think you got that guy in him. But also think about the recruiting aspect. LSU, or I keep saying LSU, the state of Louisiana, I should say, is huge for recruiting hotspots, and especially on the defensive side. And you can even pick up some good time receivers there.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, as you saw, Nick Saban, he picked up a couple guys from Louisiana, really talented receivers, these past couple of weeks and months with early signing period.
Yeah, absolutely. But overall, so I guess final thoughts on this, but I think it's a great hire for LSU. And like you were saying, it seems like everyone there and all LSU fans are ready to go.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll see what he can do. But if you ask me, I see a bright future for the Tiger program with head coach Brian Kelly. But again, recruiting and putting it all together, it's going to take a year or so to truly build it up to where it needs to be. But I think overall, man, I think he could be the guy to put you guys back on
He
top of college football.
he feels like a businessman, like he's running a business. Like it's very like professional, and just the words
Yep.
he uses in his press conference. Like he has a plan. He knows what he wants to do, and I think we've got high expectations for him.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be interesting to see, and I think he'll end up doing pretty good, pretty great. Yeah,
I think
it
your
was
mic's
good to hear
cutting
from.
up a
It was
little bit.
finally good to hear from a fan because I know a couple. I mean, I talk really the only one I know on here. I know TK Tiger Cat, and then I know Goose Sports. And I at least asked Goose Sports. He said he thought the hire was pretty interesting, but I mean, again, like it's one of those where it's a great hire from perspective, looking at what he's done at Notre Dame and what he brings. But at the same time, you got to be careful about it because, I mean, a lot of guys we expect to do great kind of end up going places and they kind of screw it up. I think an example of that would be Dan Mullen, but we'll see.
So about this Bama Georgia game, do you think the first game in the SEC championship was a fluke?
What do you mean a fluke?
Do you think just Georgia had a horrible game and Bama just had an amazing game? Like, do you think it's like it's what I'm trying to say is it going to be way different in the national championship game, or do you think it's going to
Of
be
course.
similar?
I think there. I've said I do want Bama to win, but I think Georgia's going to win this game. But they're also going to win it close. It's going to be competitive. I think you see a little bit more defense from them. I think you see a little bit more defense from Alabama too. But ultimately, as much as I want Alabama to win it, I think Georgia's just been on a mission to put themselves on top of college football, and they know what's at stake, and I think they could ultimately go out and get it done.
I think it's kind of funny how Georgia's coming in again as the favorites in this game.
Yeah. It is pretty funny, actually.
So this is tonight's the final bowl game, right?
Before the title, I think so.
Oh, okay. Do you pay attention to college basketball?
Yeah, I do. I like
I think
what
Alabama's been doing pretty good this year.
Oh yeah, definitely some. I mean, I don't know if it's as good as it was last year. Coach Oates has said that he just wants to see a lot more consistency from the offense and scoring. Like some of the key factors in some games are like they play really good defense and they can rebound and everything, but they can't. They don't do the best job of turning getting the takeaways into points, all the time, or being consistent on shooting. I think that's part of why they lost a couple days ago. Last week they had a game against Davidson and they lost by a point, but.
Well, it was fun coming on. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, always, man. You're always welcome. Thank you. Anyway, appreciate Chris for coming on. Appreciate X-Wing Sports, Alan, Benji, Holland, Drew coming on, Slim coming on here, Jeff, Mason. Love and appreciate all you guys. Hey, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Hope everyone has a good rest of the day. National Championship 6 days away. Also, do not forget tonight at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, catch a brand new episode of the show that nobody's talking about enough, Two-Man Pigskin, with myself and my good friend, Ugga Boy Brian. Love you, buddy. It'll be another good show tonight. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here. Oh, Jeff, you got some words to say, buddy?
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. I guess I mean I don't. Nobody else was getting on, so I mean I was gonna end it, but I don't care. I mean if you want.
Oh, no, if you're gonna end it, go ahead.
I got nothing else better to do. I just had nothing else to talk about. I was waiting on people, but I'm just excited for the what?
You never know in the middle of the afternoon,
Yeah.
People are, you never know who's available, who's doing something, and I just got back from campus, so I just thought I'd see what's going on. Of course, campus is dead; students aren't back yet. But I had to pick some stuff up there. I thought I'm gonna, rather than wait for them to mail it to me, I'll just come up there and grab it.
Yeah. Did you see what? I didn't even think to bring this up at all, but I just saw this quote, but I saw it the other day too. But did you see where Herb Street on game day was talking about players opting out of bowl games and said that because they opt out, it means they don't love football?
Yeah, I think that was an example of he wanted to say one thing and it just came out kind of halfway wrong.
Way. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what he was trying to say is that, the game is so different now with a playoff as opposed to when Herb Street played, there was no playoff. It was a vote decided after all the bowl games were over. So, you didn't know if you were playing in that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now you know that these are the two semifinals, and then, you know what I mean? And you got social media, you've got the draft is so much more. There's so much more money now than there was before. It's just, I don't know that the players themselves have changed so much as all the circumstances around them have changed. And that might have been what he was trying to say, and he just didn't come out right.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. hard to look at, somebody thinking, well, I could be a multimillionaire in a couple of months, or I could be relying on my degree,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I think really I don't like it, but I can understand if a guy was a serious first round, if he was graded out, if he had 15 people telling him, hey, I think you're going to grade out in the first round, or maybe even the second round, I can get that. But some of these guys, are they're just making bad decisions.
Yeah.
It's like the transfer portal. There's going to literally be hundreds. I mean, literally, there's going to be hundreds of players who are not going to have a home next year.
Oh, yeah.
And who voluntarily gave up their scholarships because they thought they could go somewhere else and do something. I mean, how many kids are going to have to get burned before everybody starts to think, you know what, maybe I should be a little hesitant about doing this. Maybe the transfer portal is for the top 10% and really nobody else.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, where the hell is he going to go? USC, maybe Wisconsin?
Oh.
And do the Russell Wilson thing?
Oh my gosh. It's possible you're right about that. I don't
Not
know.
going to the SEC. There's no place in the SEC where he'll go unless he's thinking about going to Ole Miss.
Isn't Ole Miss? Who do they have coming in after Corral?
Oh, there you go. Can't think of it, right? So that means
Right.
I love all the Disney dogs saying he's going to Georgia. He ain't going to Georgia. For the love of God, come on, people.
Yeah.
Don't be too surprised, and this is a team that nobody has said a word about. Don't be surprised if he doesn't end up in Tallahassee or Gainesville.
Okay.
I'm thinking he wants to go somewhere where he's got an offensive-minded coach. Now he could just turn around and say, you know what, I changed my mind. I'm staying right here.
Yeah.
And
I think, and again, like even if he were to stay, I'm sure he'd still be Brent Venables' quarterback. But I think, that's the thing. And I didn't really think of it like that because when I saw that he was rumored to transfer, I'm like, whoa, where the hell is this coming from? Because he's the guy now. Spencer Rattler transferring out because of this. I mean, what are you talking about? Then I think, oh, Brent Venables is the coach. He's a defensive mind. He's there to pretty much fix the defense. So a talent like this needs to be under an offensive mind. It's no disrespect or hatred to Oklahoma or Brent Venables. It's just like, I just need what's best. And I don't know if this guy's the right guy. I'm sorry. I got to go. So he's, and like you said, I mean, it's possible he stays. I don't know who the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma is supposed to be. I don't know if they have one yet or what, but Florida could be interesting for him with Napier here. There you go, Florida fans. How about a quarterback and a new head coach? You might get your wish. You might get whatever you're wanting this year. I don't know, but
a lot of times people, you got to understand, these players are attracted to a coach. They're attracted to a system and not necessarily a school. Alabama's full of players that don't really care about Alabama. They care about Alabama because Nick Saban's there and what he's doing there. but they didn't grow up rooting for the Crimson Tide and couldn't wait to play for Alabama. It's the situation in Alabama that's attracted them to Tuscaloosa, and Saban and what he's done and the process and the program and everything. And that's like, right now there's a lot of people that are going to Iowa State that are there because of Matt Campbell. If Matt Campbell wasn't the coach at Iowa State, they wouldn't give a shit about Iowa State.
Oh yeah. Wisconsin sports fan says, long shot, but West Virginia needs a quarterback. Arch Manning might go to Ole Miss. I've heard about that. We still don't have, I don't think Arch Manning is committed anywhere, is he? And he's part of next year's class? Or year after? That'll be interesting to see. I know Eli played at Ole Miss. Payton played at Tennessee. 2023, okay.
All right, what's going on here?
What games is the LSU game the only one on? I think tonight.
That's the last college game.
Before the Natty?
Yeah.
That's it? Let me see.
Yep.
Okay.
LSU has 0 scholarship quarterbacks. They're going to have to play a kid. They're going to have to play a kid that took 20 snaps last year in high school, or a former high school quarterback who is actually now a wide receiver for LSU.
Yeah.
And they're down to 39 total scholarship players, but they're playing. They could have backed out, but they're going to show up.
Yeah, they will. And if they quit last minute, I will never let it down. I will forever make fun of LSU for it. Because could you imagine?
But they're getting credit for me for showing up today.
Yeah.
Because they're down to 39 players. I mean, no scholarship court. I mean, they are in the shitter.
Yeah.
But they're going to show up and give it the Gold College try, so good for them. It'd be real easy to say, my God, look at this,
Yeah. It'll be a good game, I think. Now, the SEC got off to a rough start, but I guess Bama and Georgia have made up for it, picked it up a bit with bowl wins. I don't like pulling for LSU though, so I think I'm a Wildcat fan tonight, pulling for Kansas State.
Oh, yeah, so am I, and I picked them, to win.
This whole SEC needs to win some ball. Screw it. At this point, I hope Bama's rivals lose, so we have some quality entertainment to laugh at.
Well, there's an additional side piece for me. If these two things happen, if Kansas State wins tonight and Bama beats Georgia, I win Rogers' pool. I beat Jay Shipes.
What all have you gotten so far?
Well, I'm 23-11, and I'm tied for second.
Ooh. Did you pick? I take it you picked both Bama and Georgia to win their bowl games, right? You didn't think Michigan
Yes,
was.
I wasn't stupid like you.
I mean, come on, it wasn't that stupid, was it? I mean,
If you had been right, you would have blown everybody in the pool away because you had, you know, that's what I tried to tell somebody the other day. I said Ballard was playing for the angle that nobody else had, and if his angle had come true, he would have moved way ahead of everybody because nobody else would have had what he had.
yeah,
That's like one of the things that helped me was Texas Tech versus Mississippi State. There's 32 people in Raj's pool. 31 people picked Mississippi State. One person, Jeff Webster, picked Texas Tech. 31-1. And I was right. And the other 31 were wrong.
there you go.
That's what you have to have in a pool. You've got to have one or two games where you've made a risk, you've risked the underdog, or you pick the team that nobody wants or whatever, and then it happens. And that's what you got to have happen to win a pool with so many people in it. You've got to have one or two that nobody else had.
Yeah.
And right now, me, Raj, somebody named Don Adkins, and Real Big Lee are tied for second behind Jay Shipes, who's by himself in first place.
Yeah.
Raj and I both have Kansas State. Everybody else, like in the whole top 10, has got LSU. So then if Kansas State wins, we pass Jay Shipes for first place and he goes into second.
Okay.
And then the other two guys that are tied for second go to third. That's if Kansas State wins. Then if Bama wins, Raj has got Georgia, so I will pass Raj. And we'll win it. But that's the only way. I have to have those two things. If it's LSU Bama, I don't win it.
Yeah.
If it's Kansas State Georgia, I don't win it. It has to be the combination of Kansas State and Bama.
I got you.
And on the day after Christmas, I was tied for 18th in that pool. Tied for 18th. Now I'm tied for second. I shot way the hell up. And then I blew it on New Year's Day. 5 games on New Year's Day, and I only had 2 of them right. If I'd have had 3 of them right, I'd be tied for first.
Okay.
So I kind of bombed out on New Year's Day.
So wait, who did you pick for the New Year's Day?
Well, I had Notre Dame wrong.
Okay.
I had Utah wrong, and I had Ole Miss wrong.
Oh.
Or no. I had Iowa to beat Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
But I did have Arkansas winning. I got that right, and I think I had Baylor win. Anyway, I can't remember. I was 2 right and 3 wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
And VicTube was in last place for a while. He was really sucking hind wind, but he pulled it out. He's not in last anymore. He jumped up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here. What's my weather like? It's 32 degrees out.
It's 46 here. And I doubt we get more snow. I think it was just kind of that one day.
We're not supposed to get next 3 days no snow, but it is supposed to get down to 9 on Thursday.
Ooh, 9 degrees.
Well, hell, it was -2 on New Year's Eve.
Whew. Man,
We got 6 inches of snow.
yeah.
I've got snow over the top of my ankles in my yard. So when you went out and scraped a handful of wet snow off your patio railing, I was like,
Oh,
okay,
that video,
Ballard.
yeah.
Ballard, tell me about Wallace State. What's the situation there? When do you start classes again? What are you taking?
I was talking with my grandmother today, actually. I think I'm going to start next week. I did look into the path that I'm on, and I know what I'm going to take. My grandmother went out today. She's supposed to get back this afternoon. And when she does, she said she'll help me look at it and we'll take care of it. But based on the path, at least that it recommended, first off, I got to retake my algebra class because that didn't go well. But I did good in the English. But I'd have to retake algebra. And then it recommended that I take a U.S. history course this semester. And it looks like I did so, I did great in algebra at the end, but because of the slow start that I got off to at the start of the semester, being in school and everything, that's what held me back. But I seem to handle 2 classes at a time pretty well. And, my mom, even says like, look, just stick to 2 classes for like your first full year, whatever. And we'll see how it goes. But, it looks like I'm going to retake Algebra 1 and then a U.S. history course I got to take. But again, we'll look at it and we'll see.
Well, Ballard, my minor was in American history. So if you ever have any trouble or you need any help or advice or anything with U.S. history, you just let me know, because that was my minor. I got very good grades in U.S. history.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely something I can help you with. You got to write a paper, you got to do something like that. You just let me know.
Cool, man. Yeah, I took it in high school, and gosh, it took me 3 tries at it to finally pass it. I can never get over it. I don't know what it was. I just had a hard time with the material, and just the rubrics and what they were asking me. But
right,
yeah, I mean, it was.
All right. Well, that's okay now, because now you're. When it comes to American history, U.S. history, you're singing my song. So if you ever get hung up, don't you be hesitant about calling, because I can help you out.
Oh, always, man, for sure.
Like you get stuck in the trigonometry or something like that, I ain't the dude to call.
My grandfather's really smart with math, so I have an advantage at home. He's actually truly, my grade would be a lot lower if I didn't move in with my other grandparents and he started helping me out with my math. I mean, I would not only fail the class because I came so close to a D, but I wasn't quite there. But I'd probably have like a 30 or something. Hell, maybe a 20. I don't know. But it would be a lot lower.
And that was my only C.
Algebra?
At Alabama was college algebra. And when they posted the grades, you knew your grade. You didn't have to wait. If you wanted to see your grade, like the day after you took your finals, you could go to the classroom and they'd have a long strip of paper hanging on the door, and it would say CA 202, college algebra 202, whatever. and then it would have the last 4 digits of your social security number. So like 2244, whatever. And then it would have your grade next to it. So I look for mine and I see mine, and I'm standing next to this guy, and for the life of me, I can't remember this guy's last name. I just know his first name was Dan. He always sat next to me, and I can't remember his last name, even though we were buddies for a semester.
Yeah.
And we were both there at the same time, and I looked and I saw mine, and I go, I did it, man, I got a C. And he said, I did too. And we walked outside of 10 Hoover Hall, which is not far from where Maddie Sims's dorm is.
Yeah.
We walked outside, sat on the bench outside by the azalea plants, by the azalea bushes, and lit cigars and smoked cigars outside
There
to
you
celebrate.
go.
I'll never have to take.
It felt like a third Saturday victory, didn't it?
Yeah, I'll never have to take an algebra class ever again for the rest of my life.
Dude,
Hooray!
I took like my final module quiz, not my semester final, but I promise you, I started out, I think the first one I got was like a 36. Then I got like a 48, so it did a little better. Then I crapped the bed. I got a 4 on one of them. A 4. And I told my teacher, I said, tell me that's out of 10 and this is a 40%. She said, no, it's out of 100. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, oh, God. I worked day and night for this final one, like early December, late November, whatever, like maybe right before Thanksgiving or whatever it was. I worked day and night each day with my grandfather, and I ended up getting, I think it was like a 78 out of 100. And I'm just like, this is the highest one I've got. This is incredible. And I'm like, holy cow. Now, because of the other quizzes, it still wasn't enough to bring my grade up to where it needs to be. But I mean, I'm like, I know that I can do this if I just kind of put my head to it, work hard at it, use the resources, and just work at it.
Right.
Oh, that's so cool what you just sent me too. I see. Is that Stallings right there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, let's see. What the hell was I just looking at here?
I don't know. Welcome back, Slim. But yeah, man, 15 years ago today, again, like I put in the title, because I was just bored, so I wanted to do a stream, but instead of just a hangout, I figured I'd get some topics. But 15 years ago, man, the GOAT landed. That was a big day.
Send you about. I thought I saw it somewhere. Where the hell was it? No. I sent you the wrong thing. I just sent you something. That's not what I meant to send.
Okay.
Oh, here it is.
Hello.
Here it is. We were talking about high schools the other day. I was going to send you my high school's logo. Here's my high school's logo. That's what I meant to send you. I just clicked on the wrong button.
Oh, that is awesome. You care if I read it out loud?
No, go ahead.
What's that? Sacred Heart Griffin?
Yeah.
And I can't read what's at the bottom.
Academic excellence in the community of faith.
Awesome. That is so
the reason
cool.
why it's called SHG is the girls went to Sacred Heart Academy, and in catty corner across the street, the boys went to Bishop Griffin.
Right.
Well, I graduated in 84. My sister graduated in 86. My brother graduated in 91. In between my brother and my sister, 87 was the last year Sacred Heart and Griffin existed as separate schools. Starting with the class of 88, they became co-ed because it just became financially impossible for the diocese to have the two separate high schools going at the same time. They needed to put them together.
Yeah.
So basically what they did is they took the girls' school, Sacred Heart, and they more or less turned that into the band, cafeteria, and freshman building, and pretty much everything else went into our building, which was newer, which was the boys' school.
Okay.
But it's called Sacred Heart Griffin. Now here's a crazy wacky. Here's crazy wacky. When the schools were separate, the boys' colors were purple and old gold. Old gold like the Notre Dame helmets, not yellow, old gold. And our nickname was Tornadoes.
Oh.
And the girls were red and blue, and they were known as the Blazers.
Okay.
Well, they decided we can't go with red or blue or purple or gold because that would favor one side over the other. So we need to come up with something different.
Yeah.
So they came up with black and gold. And they decided because there had been like 2 tornadoes that had caused a bunch of damage in Sangamon County, that maybe tornadoes wasn't effective anymore and they should be turned into the cyclones. So now technically we're the cyclones.
Yeah.
But when I went there, we were the Bishop Griffin Tornadoes. Now it's the Sacred Heart Griffin Cyclones, but it's the same school. It's just a different name,
Cyclones like Iowa State. There you go. I just realized that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Which is funny because technically a cyclone is like a hurricane, and there ain't no hurricanes in the middle of Illinois.
Yeah.
I ain't heard much from BVD lately. I think he did his show with Sea Dog the other night, but I didn't watch it because I don't watch Sea Dog.
Yeah, me neither. What do you have against him?
I don't have anything against him. I just, and this is just my personal preference.
Yeah.
He talks slow.
He's annoying, basically.
And monotone, and his delivery makes it difficult for me to listen to.
Yeah.
But it's nothing personal against the guy. I mean, I like the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, God, where's everybody at? Nobody in here.
I don't know. We had a crowd. Everyone was just kind of, I don't know.
Well, they looked and saw me in here, and they went, "How the hell with that? I don't hear Webster." I drove them away. You were better off before I was in here.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't really have much else, man. I saw today that it was 15 years ago Nick Saban landed, and I talked about what the game. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with this championship game upcoming. You know, I got a little hype trailer out. I got my preview video coming out on Thursday for you. And at the very least, I will be able to watch the game, but I think I was talking with Trenches, and I think I'm going to do a stream and watch it with him and Chess. I think it'll be on Chess's channel. But we'll see.
I will probably be too worked up to even comment. I mean, I never mind. There's no way I could do a stream.
Right.
And I'll be way ahead of everybody. And so I am not going to sit here during the natty and not react. Not react because everybody else is 10 seconds behind. I won't be able to not do that.
Yeah, I got you.
I won't be able to go, oh, I can't say anything. I'll slip up.
It's like when I go live for the games recently, you're like, Ballard, just wait 15 seconds and watch this. Just shut up and watch this play.
Well, what irritates me is once people find out that a guy is behind on the feed, once they know that, then they ought to, out of decency, not say anything. I mean, once I figured it out, I didn't say anything,
Yeah.
But there's other people that know you're behind and still comment still say something anyway. I'm like, now you're just being a jerk,
All Sports Central predicts 27-24 Georgia. And again, like I've been saying, people picking Georgia fans are going to pick their team. You're going to have passion and confidence in your team. Spoiler alert, too. Yes, in my preview and prediction video, and I'll just go ahead and give the score. But still tune in Thursday for it. 28-24. And I've been saying it. I think this is, and Jeff, you've said it, like all the stars have aligned, and it just seems like if there's any year Georgia's got to take advantage and do it, they got to do it this year. And I got to be honest, I think they will. Now, I want nothing more than the Tide to win this. I think that we definitely can. But if I had to take the Bama out of me just for a split second and be an unbiased, I don't have a team type of guy, I tried to do that in the video. I went with Georgia, 28-24. But again, I hope we can get this upset. I hope that Saban can, and, I mentioned it earlier, the magic number is 7 hold on. Yeah, 7 titles at Bama, because technically if he wants to truly break Bear Bryant's record, he needs 7 at Alabama, right?
Right. That's what I said a couple of years ago, that he's never going to come out and say it publicly. But him and Miss Terry sitting in the lake house on the patio looking out over the lake, they've had that conversation. He's got the 7 now, which makes him more than everybody else. But he's tied with Bryant at Bama. And I think he wants to pass Bryant at Bama.
I say he goes for 10 in total. Double digits, why not?
That'd be all right with me, as long as he's doing it in Tuscaloosa.
What? Why is it crunched in a hole? I don't know, because it was in my pocket.
I felt bad for Nate the Great. I did feel bad for Nate the Great.
No. Although I would have wanted us to play Michigan. I think that would have been a good matchup.
Yeah, poor Nate. I mean, he's waited forever for his team to get in the playoffs, and then they got bombed. Well, all right. I mean, Lou, I think, is Lou streaming the I don't know if he's going to stream the game tonight. I bet somebody does, because it's the last bowl game.
I thought he would do it on his lunch money thing with Pete, wouldn't he? Like he did last year.
Well, no. I mean tonight's game.
Oh, tonight's game.
Because nobody really cares about this game, but it's the only game. It's the last one before the Natty. It's a Tuesday night. There's nothing going on. Somebody will probably do it. Somebody, Pete or Chess or something. I mean, somebody will probably do it.
Yeah. What's up, Nate?
What's up?
There he is. How's it
You're
going,
going
buddy?
for Michigan? Are you or for Georgia?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Okay.
to be honest, it's their year. I'm not trying to get on their hype train, whatever. I'm just agreeing to their perspective, their year, because they want the championship so bad, even though Bama wants it too. But I just had a feeling that Georgia might pull out the win. So
Be the biggest upset in college football history if they do.
yeah, true. Well, it won't be the first. Because, well, you mean in college football playoff history or just college
In
football?
general, because of Kirby and where he's at, I mean, he's
Well, I know
on the stage.
It's not the first. What is it? It's not the first upset that we've seen. Like Auburn, the kick six.
Get out.
That's Bama.
Get out.
We don't talk about that here.
That's your one warning. You don't ever you say Satan's red card or whatever you want. We don't say the actual title.
Oh, you Bama fan.
Be careful. I'll give you a warning and I'll let that slide, buddy. But that's a no word on this channel for us.
Yeah. The phrase that starts with a K and ends with an S is not allowed to be spoken in my presence.
Nope. Never.
Chaos, huh? What's that?
Yeah. What? Never mind.
Moving
Anyway.
on.
Yeah.
How's everyone's day?
So far, so good. Kind of slow, but it's not bad.
That's good. How about you, Jeff? It's cold out there.
Oh yeah, cold where you're at too.
Yeah, it's kind of
cold where. Dude,
we
got snow this week in Alabama.
That's rare.
Yeah, but
I mean, is it cool to have snow?
Yeah, I liked it. I don't like cleaning frost off the windshield, but you know, it's.
Did you get my joke?
You got to take care of.
And I said, "Did you get my joke though?" Is it cool to have snow?
Oh yeah, pretty cool. Just chill out, Nate.
Chillax. So yeah, I wanted a competitive game with Georgia and Michigan, but I think everyone wanted that. But it's a pass. I just
for a little bit.
Still haunts me. It still haunts me in this day. But
I don't think it's been a whole week and it's still haunting you.
Yeah, well, and plus,
you're saying it still haunts me to this day, like it was 20 years ago.
Those dogs, I tell you.
Back in my day.
Yeah, I actually looked at Michigan's 2022 projected roster or depth chart or whatever it is.
What's up?
Oh, what's up?
All right, that's it. I can't be on here too much longer.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I gotta take care of some stuff around the house and
gotcha.
Call it into the stream. But catch myself and Ugly Boy. At least I'll double check with them. We should be good for the show tonight. But the new show that we got going around, 2-Man Pigskin, it'll be 10 Eastern, 9 Central, right here on Ballard Sports Media. So y'all tune in tonight for that.
10 Eastern. All right.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Ballard. We'll see y'all later.
See you, Jeff.
See ya.
See y'all.
I'll see you about.
All right, Jacob. Yeah. All right. I'm out of here. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up. Georgia, the countdown is still on. 6 days. Coming for a butt whooping. Come get you some Alabama. Love you guys. Y'all have a good one. And as always, folks, roll tide.